Yo, this is Rio. Welcome to the Road Less Travel podcast. And today we're here with one of my childhood friends, Mike. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm well, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
I'm super excited to have this conversation because, I've had the pleasure to be a part of your journey, to see it from a long distance. And I really think that you have some gems that could change some people's lives. You do it on a daily basis. You are a personal trainer, a dietitian, a therapist. You're a life coach in general, and I've had the pleasure of being one of your clients and seeing so many lives that you've changed throughout your journey. And I think that you even have more to share. You know what I'm saying? I think that Beyond Physical is the name of your company for a reason. And I really want to get into that. I really want to talk about the whole journey, but what led you into fitness? What was that pivotal moment? Because growing up, we were just, playing football, playing basketball, wake up at 8 in the morning and play outside until, midnight or whatever, So what was that pivotal moment that your life changed to where you like, yo, I want to get into health and wellness. I want to get into self-improvement. I want to make a change for myself.
So for me, it was about 8 years ago, and it really just came down to I was at a place in my life where I didn't feel fulfilled. I was operating on a low vibration, and I just knew that something needed to change for me. And during that process, it took a lot of reinvention of myself, bro. For real. It took me to deleting social media. It took me to getting myself getting myself in church and getting myself in a positive community. It just took a lot of different things, man, but it was about 8 years ago for me to really just start this whole road for self-development.
Was there like a moment, was there like an aha moment, or was it like a gradual thing? Like, did you wake up one day like, nah, I need to make a change and I'm making it today? Or was it like, you know what, I want to start going to church a little bit. I want to try, maybe going to the gym. Maybe that was, like, what did that process look like? Because the only reason I asked that is there are a lot of people in that place right now, and they want to make that change. And, it looks different for everybody, but I just want to kind of know, what was it like for you?
Yeah, so for me, it was just it was really like I felt like like God slapped me in the back of the head. It just got to a point where it was like, you got to make something shake with your life. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something, not making it look good on the outside, but really out there, really go out there and do something for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I just, hearing old folks, when you're having conversations and they just saying like, man, you live one time, man, and just, don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? And it just came to a pivotal point where it was just like, nothing in my life at the time was of value. And I knew I wanted value, man. So I just buckled down and I started that journey, man. I was basically jumping around from, warehouse to warehouse during this time. I didn't really have anything going for myself. And I just buckled down, man, and just do what I needed to do. Went ahead and got my CDL, got into the health and wellness space, man, and got into some of the best shape of my life. I actually got a personal trainer who was actually a mentor of mine. He helped me. I got my head into some books, man, and the rest has been history, man. Just constantly elevating, trying to get better by the day, and just helping people. So
yeah, and you mentioned a couple good things. It's like not doing what looks good on the outside, but really doing that internal work. It starts with the internal work. Yeah. And you've always had the grind. One thing I'll say about you always had the work ethic. So when I seen you, making these changes, it was like, bro, I remember like practicing with you for your CDLs test outside in the snow. You know what I'm saying? I remember when we was training in your apartment complex gym. You know what I'm saying? I remember you taking the necessary steps to get to where you wanted to go. And I want to talk about two things that you mentioned was you said you wanted to find a positive community.
For sure.
So like what importance did environment play on your childhood and where you are today? Like, was there, when you weren't in the best environment, what decisions did it lead you to make compared to now when you are in good communities? How do those good communities impact your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so kind of just to peel a couple layers back, I grew up in a single family household, just me and my mom. And I've seen a lot of things at a young age. I've seen alcohol destroy family members. I've seen just a lot of stuff, man, that your average kid wouldn't see. And so that environment, causes you to operate of a space. You always operate in chaos. There's no peace. And, it comes with trauma, man. And it comes with some low vibrations that, you have to break as you get older. And, it's important to put yourself in a position to be around people of a higher vibration. And I didn't really understand the power of that until I got older, until I got into my own 2 feet to be able to, see the power in that, man. And it's been tremendous on my life. We go to Bible study every other Thursday for, 3-4 years now. Heavily involved in the church. We're leaders in the church. We've been going there for about 7 years, man. So environment is everything, man. But it's all about just kind of, establishing that relationship with God and letting Him remove certain things from you. It doesn't happen like that. It's a lot of work that goes in between, being from, that trauma-filled, childhood, to where I am now. There's a lot of work that has to go in between, and.
Yeah, and I asked those questions because I seen the impact of, when we just was just out running around, we was just doing what everybody else was doing, and in high school, you were a completely different person.
For sure.
There were, them, and I was too, but, it was like a lot of it had to do with the environment that we were around. And it's very, very difficult to not necessarily leave people behind, but separate yourself to go do that internal work.
For sure.
Was that difficult for you to separate from maybe some people you hung with every day, separate from, things you enjoy, maybe going out, maybe if drinking is your thing or smoking is your thing, like separating yourself from those things is typically difficult for most people, but it's very necessary for growth.
Right.
So in your journey, how is separation from one environment to transition to the new environment?
Yeah, so it was difficult, but I'm the type of person, like, once my mind is made up, I'm done. Like, there's no negotiations. But I have to get to that point. And when I got to that point, it was easy for me because I had the plan, I had the vision. I remember being in my mom's basement, working out at the time. I was nowhere near a trainer. I was working warehouses and stuff like that, and just smiling in the mirror by myself, nobody in the basement, just because I could just see the vision for what I wanted for myself. And but yeah, once I make that decision, it's very easy for me because I know where I'm going. I have that plan and I know where I'm going for myself. But it is hard for the sense of like leaving your friends behind, or maybe you're not stepping out and doing all those things, because all the things you just discussed, I used to do. You know what I mean? And it just takes time, man. It takes continual work on yourself, and to just really figure out what you want for your life, man, when it's all said and done, and just get serious about it.
That's very important, because one of the main things that I really wanted to touch on in this conversation was the importance of planning, and the importance of lifestyle versus your career path. So you mentioned that. You just said, you really have to make a plan. And that's one thing that I admire about you a lot, is I constantly see you putting plans in place and executing. But sometimes for people, even myself, it's hard to put that whole plan together. So what does that process look like for you when you're, all right, I'm separating myself from these bad environments. I really want to get into, did you know from the beginning you wanted to be in the health and wellness space? Or because I remember you got the CDLs, you was doing good. You had a good career in the trucking industry, but you had a different vision. Like, what did that moment look like for you when you're making that plan to better yourself and to change your career path?
Yeah. So first off, anytime you're coming up with a plan, it's so important to put it down on paper. So, my wife and I, we got, 4 or 5 whiteboards around the house for different ventures. So maybe a business whiteboard, it might be a financial whiteboard, it may be our goals. I know we've shared a video talking about our vision board. We've shared that as well. So putting it down on paper first and foremost, or on some type of board, is going to be critical. It's going to bring it to life. But yeah, I was doing well with the CDLs and stuff like that, but I just knew I wanted more, man. I wanted something fulfilling, and delivering packages for me at the time, it wasn't fulfilling. It paid well, but it didn't give me that passion, that fire. And I got into, I actually hired a personal trainer myself, And he was kind of a mentor of mine, taught me a lot about, different, life gurus, people like Tony Robbins, people like, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, just really just to elevate your mind and elevate your life. We got to reprogram this. And that was that pivotal jump for me to really be like, okay, I see where I can really take this. I can see my potential. And it really just made me lock in, bro.
That's dope. That's dope. And that brings me to the point of, lifestyle, how it correlates to what you do for a living, because you didn't just say, man, I could really make an impact as a personal trainer in teaching people, the same things my mentor taught me. You said, I'm gonna do it first myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna become that. And then, I can teach others to, come along on a journey with me. So I think that's super important because, a lot of times people preach what they're not practicing. And you might be you might really be able to get me in shape. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when you approach your journey, you approach it beyond physical. You wanted to change lives a full, complete circle, and not just in the gym. And what made you decide that? What made you say, I want to change people physically. I want to change myself physically, but there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, because I know what fitness did for me in my life. The total 180 from how I used to think to my daily routines to just everything that goes into it. I knew what it did for me and how liberating it was. And I just really wanted the same for other people. I'm like, man, if I can do this for me, let me see if I can do it for someone else. It's cool if you got the $1 million, but can you help someone else get the $1 million and duplicate that? Yeah. And I've been able to do that, man. It's been a fun journey just helping people. And it really is beyond physical, man. We're really doing life out here, and that's what it's about. When you got 300, 400 pounds on your back and you feel that resistance, that calmness to be, under pressure, but still be calm under chaos, because life is going to be chaotic, man. And being able to hold that mind frame and be able to, stick to the plans when things get tough is going to be critical. Those are the difference makers. So I try to teach that to my clients. And yeah, bro, that's what it's about.
Nah, definitely. And the authenticity shows, it shows in the proof is in the pudding. You're competing with a very stacked industry. Personal training right now is more popular than it's ever been, and shout out to everybody who's out there trying to make a difference and change people's lives. But you're competing in a very packed industry, and you're competing with not just people who, the personal trainers out here in the streets. You're competing with social media, the internet, people with 500,000 followers, where it looks so much more glamorous to go train with somebody who's going to post you on their page and, you're going to, get that visibility when that's when the authenticity comes into play, where it's like people really can just see what you're doing and really see the impact that not only the journey has had on you, but everybody around you. Like, when you're putting out that good energy, it's magnetic. And when people get around you, they start to join in on that journey with you. It's not like, yo, I'm selling this, buy it. It's like, no, this is how I'm living, bro. And the fruits are in the labor. I'm looking better than I ever looked. I'm feeling better than I ever felt. All the plants around me are growing strong and tall. And it's when it attracts that positivity around you.
For sure.
And that's when the authenticity, comes to show.
For sure.
And I think, one thing I really want to tap into is, how do you build a business knowing those things? Like, what was your approach to building this as a business, as a profitable thing? We know you want to change lives. We know you want to make an impact, but what's the business side of it look like? What was your approach?
Yeah, so really my approach was coming in to add value. Zig Ziglar says, if you take care of enough people, they'll take care of you. So my whole focus really, honestly, has never really been on money. It's always been on living through my gift. And I just know that God would bless me if I did that. So it's like sharing my story and helping people get to their destination, taking them from that zero to hero moment. It's going to have its fruit. I do everything organically. I don't do anything that's like real salesy or anything like that. If it don't sit right with my spirit, then, I won't do it. You know what I mean? But I feel like you got to stay in your lane. That's just really what it is. Like, it's enough money out here for everybody. It's enough clients out here for everybody. And you're going to attract your tribe. So if you are portraying something that you're not and you didn't walk, then it's going to be hard for you to attract the people that you're actually trying to attract. For me personally, I have a particular audience that I'm trying to attract, and those are people who really want a well-rounded life. If you come into me just because you want a bigger butt or a six-pack, I'm probably not the trainer to come for you, because it is beyond physical. Now, do we like all of those things? Do we like the aesthetics? Of course. Of course we do, but it's just a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I want to attract. So I would just say, stand in your lane and just speaking your message, your story, and what it is that you want to portray, and everything will come together.
That's dope. And I see it, I see it play out, and that's why everybody I see around you, even, part of your fitness journey, your health and development, people fall off, they come back, they fall off, they come back. And how is that played a part in your journey? What are some pivotal moments where maybe you fell off track when you were trying to, get to the goal, get to the end goal? What are some of those, like, is it the same for you? Like, have you had those moments where you fell off? You know what I'm saying? You got all these people depending on you, got the weight on your shoulders of all these clients, but maybe you had a bad week. How do you deal with those moments?
Yeah, so you mean business-wise or with my fitness goals?
Both, because I think they both go hand in hand, because if you fall off on your fitness goals, it can impact your business. You know what I'm saying? So what do you have those moments, and how do you deal with them?
Yes. I mean, I think everybody's going to have those moments where they don't feel like they're operating at their best, or they maybe have, took the foot off the gas pedal per se. But physically, I try to always keep myself on the same routine when it comes to working out and just being consistent with that. It's one of my ways to just release. It's almost like therapy for me. So I haven't taken more than, 3 to 4 days max in 8 years. That's just me, and who I am is in me. But now as far as, business wise, there's definitely times where, I'm like feeling the weight of everything, and I'm like, man, I got all these people, and you just feel like you need a release. And sometimes you can want to retract the old habits to where, I might not want to get on my phone and just take a whole weekend off and eat some terrible food and just basically try to eliminate all responsibility. And then I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can feel, both physically. So when I'm eating my food and stuff like that, I'm putting bad foods in me. Our gut is a direct correlation to our mind. So when I'm fueling myself with bad foods and stuff like that all the time, more than I should, I can feel that. And it's like, man, now I know my brain ain't working how it needs to be working. So just making sure that my daily routine is on point, making sure that I'm going to bed by 10 a.m. or 10 p.m., making sure that I'm going to sleep by, making sure I'm going to sleep by 10 p.m., making sure I'm waking up by 5:30 a.m., stuff like that. Just make sure I'm on my daily schedules, eating my foods and stuff like that. But yeah, man, we all going to fall off. It's just about, repivoting and just getting back on just getting back to it. So
no, that's dope, man. And there's a lot of people who want to start their health and wellness journey as well. And it's very difficult. The hardest part is getting started. So for you, I want you to touch on how did you do it? Like, how did you say, I'm gonna change my diet? This is what I'm gonna change my diet to. And how was your plan in that process? Because reason I asked is because, even for me, like when I wanted to change my daily habits, the diet was the hardest part.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so how did you navigate that?
Yeah, so I think you just hit it on the head, is the daily habits. So we're habits of creature. So the first thing, especially starting out, that you want to focus on is consistency. So whatever that is for you. So maybe you're working out, you're like, man, I got that part down, but the food part is hard for you. I would make a small goal, but that still would challenge you for yourself. So let's say I'm going to eat clean for 1 month straight. I'm going to do everything I'm supposed to do for that 1 month. Once you do that and you actually conquer that, that's going to be a snowball effect, because now you're reprogramming yourself to, okay, man, I can actually do this. This can be done. And then once you do that for 30 days, then you go on for, another 60 days. And you might fall off between that time, but the whole point is to just keep stretching yourself, keep making that, forcing that capacity to go higher, and just keep challenging yourself, because consistency is what it's going to come down to, and habits over everything. That's what this whole game is. So if working out is something that's hard for you, then I would do the same thing. I would focus 30 days, try to knock out as many. You might say, I'm gonna work out 3 days a week for 30 days straight, for the whole month. And then try to do that as best as you can, and then just build, man, and compound off of that. Fitness is not something that is a destination thing anyway. It's forever. Like, to live a healthy life, you gotta do it all the time.
Yeah.
Now, it's not, when I say all the time, I don't mean that I eat healthy all the time. Like, that's not the case. But it's just having that good balance of, doing the things that you're supposed to do and then still having fun. It's important to have fun as well. It's important to have a cheat meal. It's important to live life and not be so uptight. But the consistency of you doing what you're supposed to be doing over time is going to compound. And eventually you'll be, from when you started to 6 months from now, you're going to be a better you
version
6
of
months
yourself.
now.
And that's important because there's 2 points you touched on. One is those habits. It's like slowly, you going into you're not just going from 0 to 100. You're setting a plan. Yep. Like we talked about, planning is important. You setting a plan, you setting a goal, and then you're doing the best you can to achieve it. Even if you shooting for 3 days a week,
yep.
1 week you get 2 days,
yep.
and you know what I'm saying. But the next week you get right back to it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying.
Yep.
I think that's in the importance of. People think that it's either all or nothing. Like you can't have fun anymore. You can't, food, you can't eat good tasting food. You can't, live a fun life when, it's just a completely different lifestyle that I see you eat stuff all the time. Like, man, that look crazy. You know what I'm saying? That looks good. And I want, it's just important for people to know that you could still have that balance of being a very healthy person, living a very healthy lifestyle, and still enjoying, everything that life has to offer. So when you, going about choosing what your diet is, choosing what foods to eat, choosing what type of workouts to do, did you go to school for personal training? Like, did you go to, did you go to college?
Yeah.
What was like that? What is that education piece for you?
Yeah. So, actually, a lot of people don't really know this about me, but I dropped out in 10th grade, as you know. I got kicked out of school in 10th grade, and I went on to get a few college credits, but everything that I've learned is really just self-taught, man. Trial and error, and then doing a lot of, reading and YouTubing and just learning from other health gurus, man, and just putting it all together. And it takes time, and I'm still learning. I'm still constantly, challenging new ways and just trying different things. But when it comes to food, the big take is, especially nowadays, is to make sure that you are reading labels. Make sure you understand what you're actually putting into your body. I guarantee, most people, if they go into the refrigerator and they start turning over, let's just say condiments, for instance, your mustards or peanut butters or, stuff like that, and you look around and you see the ingredients, there's going to be a lot of stuff 9 times out of 10 in there that you can't even read. You don't know what it is. It's a bunch of, chemicals and all of this stuff. So learning to really just put food in my body, quality, plays a big role, because a lot of that extra stuff is just added sugars, natural flavors, and it becomes a drug. You know what I'm saying? Your body wants to just keep consuming that, man. And it causes a lot of, mucus in the body and just, a lot of things that don't really, sustain you for a healthy quality life, man. So just figuring out, what works for you too, because what worked for me may not work for you in the sense of like, I may say I wake up, I eat eggs and broccoli, but someone may say broccoli makes them feel bloated. Well, then you got to make the necessary adjustments. So listening to your body, man, reading ingredients and just being conscious and then trial and error.
So that's super important, man, because like you said, nowadays it's just everything is just, you don't even know what you're eating no more. And it's crazy to say just eat real food. Like that's a game changer in itself. But it's crazy you have to say that. Like all food should be real food. But no, that's very important, man. And if someone is looking to find out what some of these things mean on these labels, or someone's looking to find out where to get some of this food at, are there specific YouTube channels? Are there specific books? Like, is there anything that you could pass on to the users, or is it just like deep diving until you find it?
No, absolutely. Well, just to help you on a surface level is to turn it around, look at the ingredients, and read it. If it's something that you can read, so like for instance, I just touched on peanut butter. The peanut butter we buy in our home says peanuts only. It shouldn't say a bunch of other stuff. We just want the peanut butter. It shouldn't have all that. So that would help you initially, just to be like, okay, let me see what I'm putting in my body. Basically doing your best to eat organic. That's really what it comes down to. I know everybody doesn't have the means to eat organic and stuff like that, but just doing your best, especially when it comes to your proteins, your beefs and chickens and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is being shot up with steroids. It's being, in slaughterhouses, just very low vibration protein that you put into your body instead of it living a full life and being out there, free range chickens and stuff like that. That's going to have a different effect. There's a reason that, there's a 99-cent carton of eggs and a $4 or $6 carton of eggs. There's a reason in that. And so I would say that for the surface level for sure.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
And, I think that the health and wellness journey, it's a long journey. Like you said, it's a lifelong journey. And you have to find things to keep you excited about it. All right, you know what I'm saying? The diets and stuff, it becomes routine. Once things become routine, it's like, all right, this is now I've got to the point where, speaking from you, all right, you've got to the point where your diet is just part of your lifestyle. That's what you do on a daily basis. Your habits are built up. You are who you are in the health and wellness space, but what keeps you excited? What are some of the things, like what can we expect from Beyond Physical, the business, and what can we expect from, we'll just touch on that first. From Beyond Physical, the business, what are some new things you want to try?
I really want to turn it into more of a hybrid type of thing. So I really want to take Beyond Physical and do more things like, running marathons or, doing like some, like mud runs, like just doing like different physical stuff that requires you to go out there and just be an athlete. And I don't have any aspirations to have like a brick and mortar or anything like that. I enjoy personal training. I like being hands-on with the people and just being in front of people. I still enjoy that, and I'm still in that space. So I'm not ready to venture off and just do strictly online or anything like that. But just doing different things, more hybrid style training. I love conditioning. I love, getting the heart rate up and stuff like that. So just, kind of reinventing the Beyond Physical training style, if you would, and just tapping into different areas, which is going to lead into meeting different people who do different things, CrossFit, stuff like that. So just more of a hybrid style.
Dope. Throughout this conversation, a lot of things in your personal life have been parallel to your business.
For sure.
You're on the health and wellness journey, and you're also a teacher of health and wellness. You're a life coach. So, to separate those two, and to separate yourself from the Beyond Physical business, are there any other business ventures right now that you're working on or that you want to pursue in the future?
Absolutely. So I'm doing, I have a trucking business right now, and that's been fun, man. I've been working on that for the last 5 months, and just the whole figuring out of it, the process, everything you first start up, man, there's going to be a process and there's going to be a learning curve. So just really embracing that. I want to get into real estate for sure. My wife is a realtor, and I want to be able to grow my portfolio. I'm at that age where I feel like I need to start investing in that. And as far as hobbies, man, I love to fish. I love to be on the water and just kick it. I enjoy a peaceful life, man. I don't like too much going on. I grew up in a lot of chaos, so man, peace is everything to me, bro. So
that's dope, man. That's dope. And honestly, we could talk for hours, bro. Because the journey has been long, and it's been so many ups, so many downs, so many hardships, and you just touched on a learning curve, and that's important to not be afraid of the learning curve, but to embrace it. When you first start something, being horrible at it, and then taking the time to learn and to grow and to become a professional at it. So with all that being said, man, I really appreciate you sitting down with us. I really appreciate you coming on the show. We definitely got to do it again. We talked about health and wellness. We talked about business. We talked about life. The importance of planning. We talked about how your lifestyle, your personal lifestyle, and your business, the correlation between the two, and how it can have such an impact on what you do for a living. And these are just gems that I wanted to touch on some of these things because I didn't know them, and I definitely wanted the viewers to be able to take some game and some gems from this conversation. And before we go, I just want to have you touch on one last thing. It's just maybe some advice for somebody in a really dark space. Like, what are just some little gems that you can maybe give somebody that worked for you? Somebody who's just trying to make that turn. You know what I'm saying? Turn that switch on and make a change for themselves.
Yeah, man. It's gonna sound cliche, but without God, you got nothing.
Right.
And that's just really what it amounts to, man. Building that relationship and simply, I've been in that dark place. Simply going to God and just saying, I need help, man. You know what I mean? Being around some people that, you may feel like have your best interest at heart, or maybe me walking in their light. You know what I mean? And that's what it's going to come down to. You're in that dark space, man. You got to get your spirit right first before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
And that would be my advice for that, for sure, man.
Dope. And I'm a little offended when you mentioned your hobbies. You didn't say tennis. We play tennis 3-4 days a week. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
for
feel like
sure.
because you win most of the time, that you just like, ain't, But it's cool because, I'm coming for it. Y'all heard it here first. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Love you as always,
Love you,
man.
brother.
Thank you.
Can I just say something really quick for the camera shut? I just want to give you your flowers, brother, and just say, man, I'm proud of you, bro, for all of the different ventures that you've done over the years, man. You continuously trying and just pushing yourself and stretching for a high quality life, bro. And it just doesn't go unnoticed, bro. You inspire me, bro, and I just want to say thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. That means a lot, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.